You're watching Canadian Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. From Toronto, Ontario, I'm Catherine Bullock. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace. Happy Earth Day. I have a conversation about that with NAZISH QURESHI from the Al-JOMAA Mosque in Calgary about her environmental work. But first, some news headlines. Advocates call for stronger national gun control laws. Police investigate Anthrax scare in 2 Edmonton mosques. Students allegedly desecrate Muslim Wudu space in University of Guelph. UNESCO revises design for Iraq's iconic Al-Nuri mosque. And now, the details. Advocates urge Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino to enact a national policy that bans private handgun ownership. In a letter to the minister Wednesday, the groups argue leaving gun control laws to the provinces will be a disaster, local media sources record. The letter calls on the government to ban the importation and manufacture of new handguns, at the very least. Among the signatories were the Islamic Cultural Centre of Quebec, where 6 people were killed in 2017. Mendicino's office has not issued a response to the letter yet. Edmonton Police's Hate Crime and Violent Extremism Unit investigate after packages containing a white substance were sent to 2 separate mosques this past week. Islamic Shia Ithna Ashari Centre received the first package last Friday. The second was delivered yesterday to Rahma Mosque. The National Council of Canadian Muslims, or NCCM, says that a mosque employee was covered in a white substance after opening their package Friday. They tweeted that this looked like an anthrax scare, but police later concluded the powder was not harmful. NCCM asks Canadian Muslims to remain on alert and report any suspicious packages. The Engineering Society at the University of Guelph in Ontario apologises on behalf of its members to the Guelph Muslim Student Association in an April 13th Facebook post. Grace Lee, the Society's president, says that several male members from the Society's annual gala on March 31st allegedly treated the Wudu area's basins as urinals. She wrote that she felt shocked and ashamed to be their representative. Fawzia Mazhar, the executive director of the Coalition of Muslim Women, KW, tells local media sources that if the act were intentional, it would be Islamophobia. The University of Guelph says that an investigation into the incident is ongoing. An ancient prayer hall discovered beneath the iconic Al-Nuri Mosque in Iraq prompts UNESCO to revise its restoration plan for the site. ISIS heavily damaged the monument in the city of Mosul. In partnership with the United Arab Emirates, UNESCO is rebuilding the complex. The winning design was selected from an international competition. During excavations, a team of archaeologists and local workers found gaps in the mosque's foundation. They found 4 rooms believed to have been used for wudu, the ritual washing before prayers, from the 12th century. The excavation also uncovered artifacts, including pottery fragments, pieces of carved stone, and coins. And that's it for the news. Today is Earth Day. What better day to have someone to join us to talk about climate change and what Muslims can do about it. Welcome to the show, NAZISH QURESHI. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. The UN earlier this year put out a report claiming that climate change was one of the catastrophic risks facing humanity. What can a mosque do to help address this?
Yes, so climate change right now is one of the biggest threats to all of humanity. It is an issue that a lot of scientists, everyone has been raising awareness for many years, and at this point there is a lot of evidence, a lot of threat. It's beyond just conversation now. We need to start acting. And when we look at climate change,
do? What can Muslims do to act? What kind of things are you advising Muslims to do?
For sure. So, so when we think of masajid are they're big facilities. They have a lot of influence in community. That's where our people come together, and there's a lot of ways that we can implement positive changes. So first of all, we need to address how we're using our masajid, the facility itself. So we need to make sure that our building itself has a low impact on the earth. We're not creating any pollution at the masajid. There's a lot of things that can be implemented, things like reducing our water consumption, our energy, the waste that we're creating, in particular plastic waste that gets created in masajid. So taking initiatives to transition towards a low carbon footprint, low impact facilities. Cut out your plastic. Recycling is not the solution. Recycling plastic is actually, I advise everyone to look into the recycling industry. It's pretty much a sham. Our recycling rates in Canada are ridiculously low, and for all practical purposes, we basically don't even recycle. Our national recycling rates are 9%. So really, like, we need to stop focusing on recycling, and we need to think of reducing plastic consumption. Yeah.
I might come back to recycling later, but I want to talk about it on sort of like a bigger, maybe even philosophical point of view. There are a lot of what we call the climate skeptics. And it seems to me that experts are continually having to warn us about this. Like, for example, David Attenborough recently said that climate change is the biggest threat modern humans have ever faced. These are very dire warnings, but it seems like it's falling on deaf ears. And I'm not sure if Muslims have really been in the lead addressing this. What's your sense of the Muslim community response to this?
Absolutely. And honestly, whenever I sit down with my Muslim friends, I tell them to reflect on just the way Hazrat Adam alayhi salam came to this earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made insan the Khalifa on earth. He gave us the responsibility, the amana to steward this earth. And that's a huge responsibility. And if we reflect on the verses in Surah Baqarah where that interaction between Allah and the angels, when Allah said that He has given He has made insan the Khalifa on earth, and the angels say that, but they will create corruption in the land and they will cause bloodshed.
So let's just translate those Arabic terms in case somebody's not sure what they mean. Say that again, but in English.
For sure. So Khalifa is a term used in the Quran, which can be translated into steward of the land, of the earth. And another term that is used is amana, which means a sacred trust that Allah has bestowed upon human beings to protect this earth and to return this earth in the same quality and same way that He has given us. So it is a very huge responsibility, and just like we'll be answerable for our worships and our private dealings with God, we are also going to be answerable for how we had interacted with each other, how we have used this earth to sustain ourselves, how have we used its resources. And it is really shocking that we, as Muslims, we don't consider how grave that responsibility is. And so it is very important. I think Muslims, this is our heritage, taking care of this planet and ensuring that we tread this earth lightly.
You're an environmental lead at the AKRAM JOMAA Calgary Islamic Centre, and I do want to ask you about what's going on in the centre. And I'm not sure if it's fair for me to ask you this follow-up question, but with the verses have been around for 1400 years, and Muslims have been reading the Quran for a very long time, but Muslims haven't been in the lead environmentally. I feel like we're like catch up. we're catching up to initiatives taken by others. Is that your sense as well? I'm being unfair.
Yes, I would say partially yes. I think if we look at our classical texts and our initial pious ancestors, um, they were ahead of the game, and there's a lot of evidence, in terms of the terminologies to use, in terms of the language to use to understand and address this conflict or this issue, and we have all of that in our heritage. I think the current state of the Muslim Ummah, I think we've just forgotten. We have forgotten the ways of our ancestors, both on a personal level and on a communal level. And it's more so not so much like learning from Western ideologies. It's more so reclaiming our own heritage, and we need to go back and learn, how our prophet, peace be upon him, and how the companions lived their lives when it comes to the environment and living a sustainable, simple lifestyle.
And is that what prompted you to help found an environmental committee at the Islamic Center in Calgary?
Yes. As a sustainability and sustainability professional who's been working in this climate action space, and a practicing Muslima, it was quite heartbreaking how we were not, despite the huge community that we have, this is just one area that was lacking attention and action. And so yeah, we got together and created a committee at AKRAM JOMAA, which is actually the biggest Islamic center in Western Canada. And ever since we founded the committee, we've been doing a lot of communication and awareness and having dialogue with the community to start talking about the issue, and also implementing many changes in the masjid, and holding events so that we can inspire our worshipers to be mindful of how they interact with the environment.
And how are people reacting there?
Honestly, everyone is so positive. It's not something that everyone accepts it readily. It's something that is very inherently coherent with our inner balance, right? It is. We use this term fitra, that is like in Arabic, that means our internal condition, and living in balance with nature is very in line with their inner workings. So I think any human who is conscious and who strives to live a mindful, conscientious lifestyle will find these teachings welcoming, and they will want to implement them in their life. And of course, there's economic benefit, there's mental well-being, benefit, and a lot of benefits to declutter and to live in harmony with the environment.
Well, thank you for coming on the show today and just giving us a little drop of information. Hopefully it will inspire others. Thank you. Have a good rest of Ramadan.
Thank you very much. You as well. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thanks for watching Canadian Muslim News. If you like what we do, please share, like, and subscribe. Stay safe and God bless.